Welcome to the Catholic Life Coach Podcast. My name is Carla Fitz. I'm a certified life coach, wife, and mom of two beautiful little girls and a handsome little boy. My hope for this podcast is to support and empower other Catholic women to live their most authentic life, to share life coaching tools from a Catholic perspective in order to help you live a more fulfilling and aligned life filled with peace, joy, and abundance. Let's get started. Hello, my loves, and welcome to this episode. I am so excited to share with you why it's so important to be at peace in knowing why God wants you, where He wants you, when He wants you. This episode came about because I was having a conversation with one of my clients, and we were talking about how important it is to trust God, to trust that He has a reason why He is putting you in a certain place at a certain time. There's a reason. There's a reason why. There's a reason why there's a where and why there is a when, okay? I don't know if this is making any sense, but the point is that we need to trust that God is placing us in this particular circumstance for a very important reason. There is a purpose and there is a reason why you are here today. We were talking about how sometimes God puts a desire in our hearts and He's leading us somewhere and we're kind of like, okay, I'll go. But we don't actually know what God's purpose is. We might have an idea or an inclination on what might happen or what may not happen or why we are being led to do this new thing, but we don't actually know the whole story until after. I had this story and I was sharing this with her that I went to Italy when I was, oh my goodness, I don't know. This was 2 years ago, 2023. We took our children to Italy. And right before we left, there was this ginormous storm. There was snow everywhere in the country. Flights were getting canceled. Our flight here in Omaha got canceled. We had to drive ourselves to Kansas City that afternoon before the snow got to Omaha and get there, find a new hotel. Our whole entire plan shifted. We were supposed to be, quote unquote, supposed to be in Florence on the 23rd of February, and instead we got to Florence on the 24th of February. The reason why the date was so important to me was because my birthday is February 25th, and I really was like, I want to spend a couple of days in Florence getting used to the routine, to the time, and just getting used to my surroundings and figuring out where the train was, so that on my birthday, 2 days after we were supposed to be in Florence, we would be ready to go to Siena. And I was so excited because we were taking my daughter Siena to the city, and I was just so excited to go see the saints. And I just thought I would be more prepared to go to Siena if I had spent a couple of days in Florence. Okay. Short story, way too long. We got to Florence on the evening of the 24th. But what's amazing is that there was a chance, there were so many flights canceled that there was a chance we were not going to leave. The airline was like, you're just going to have to reschedule and just redo your trip 2 weeks after. And we were like, are you kidding me? But there is a reason why God needed me and our family in Italy during those 2 weeks. One of the examples I gave my clients, and one of the examples that I always remember with so much love and so much joy and so much gratitude, was we got to Siena on the 25th on my birthday. And as we are walking up the hills, and if you've never been, Siena has a lot of hills. There's a lot of up the hill, down the hill kind of a deal. And that day it was rainy and the streets, they're stone and they were slick, and it wasn't quite safe for certain people to be walking around without help. And as we were going up this little hill, I see this grandpa walking with his wife, and no one was helping him. And I love grandparents. They have a very soft spot in my heart, a very dear space in my heart, and I just love them. Anyhow, so I look at this grandpa going up the hill, and he was going little by little, and he had a cane. And I remember seeing him go up the hill very carefully. And again, the road was slick. And so I ran up to him and I was like, hey, would you like help? Like, would you like me to walk with you up the hill? And he's like, yes, that would be so helpful. Thank you. And I walked him up the hill with his wife, and she was also an elderly woman. And when we get up the hill, he's talking to me in Italian, which I barely understand. And he was like, are you guys from here? And thank you so much. And he was telling us all this story, how he used to be this famous architect in Italy. And as I'm connecting with this man, I just was in awe of God, of how much he takes care of us through other people and how much he utilizes us to help other people, even in the smallest of ways, even if it's just walking that grandpa up the hill so that he could be safe. His wife was filled with gratitude too, but the gratitude was all mine, just getting to connect with this grandpa from Italy and hearing him talk so lovingly about his wife and his wife about him. And she was the one that was like, he was an architect and he was so well known. And he's like, do you see her? Isn't she so beautiful? And I just had that moment of this getting to be very connected with the culture and a loving husband and a loving wife. And I was just in awe of his amazing grace, how he can utilize us where we are at to touch other people's life and for other people to touch us. I also remember back in the day when I was teaching, I had a nun who used to work with me. And she one time told me that I needed to let go of this particular job that God was asking me to let go of. Because most likely there were people out there that I needed to meet, and there were people out there that needed to meet me. I think it's so important for us to pay attention to the desires of our hearts, to say yes to God more often, even when things don't make sense. When we are in the middle of listening, when we are in the middle of being obedient to Him, that's when we see His hand in every single step of the way. That's when we meet people that we were meant to meet. But that if we said no, if we decided to not participate in the miracle, we would have never met. That's why it's so important to always have present in our minds that there is a reason why He wants us, where He wants us, when He wants us. I also think back of 2020 when I was adamant that I wanted to go to Italy with my husband and it was just going to be the two of us. And what happened in 2020? COVID hit and we had to cancel our trip. We did not get to go that year. And I'm so grateful we didn't. If we would have spent 2 weeks away from our two daughters at the time, we would have hated that trip. It was because of the trip to Italy with our children that we learned how much we love traveling with them. We were supposed to be in Italy in 2023 and not in 2020. That is the beauty of all of this, is that we get not just to trust God, but we get to be happy where we are at, knowing that there is a reason why He has us, where He has us, when He has us. There is a mission that we are supposed to be doing and working, or there's a lesson that we are supposed to be learning during this time. So even if things don't make any sense, even if you are like, okay, God, I'm saying yes, but I'm still here, or I'm in this place and I feel like I shouldn't be, remember that you are not God. He is. Remember that you don't know better, that He does. Remember that He wants what's best for you, not what's appropriate, not what's realistic. He wants the best for you, the very best. And if you always have in mind that He wants what's very best for you, it's easier to trust. The mistrust happens when we think we know better. The mistrust happens when we think that our idea makes more sense. When we think that our idea of success or our idea of meeting our goal or our timing to meet our goal is the best plan. My friend, it's not. It's not. You can convince yourself and tell yourself that your plan is better, that it should happen during this time, that if it hasn't happened is because God doesn't want what's best for you. That's not true. All that's happening is that this particular time, if it's not working, is because it's not what's best for you. Trust that He has a reason for everything, that He wants what's best for you, because He does. If you look back at your life, I'm going to speak by experience. In 2020, I was very disappointed that we were not going back to Italy. I had been waiting for 8 years to go back to Italy. And I was like, are you kidding me? We got so close. We had every single ticket. We had every single experience booked. We had paid for everything. Are you kidding me? And I thought my plan was better. I thought this would have been an amazing year. And it's very easy to get stuck on the idea of what would have been, as if we have the power to know what would have been. But here's what happened. 3 years later, we got to go again with our daughters. Did we have to wait 3 more years? Yes. Were we going to COVID? Yes. Was I miserable? Yes, I was. But at the time, I didn't know what I know now. I did the best I could with what I knew. But in hindsight, going in 2023 was the best. We didn't just go ourselves. It wasn't just my husband and I. We get to take our 2 daughters. We get to take my mom and dad. They had never been to Italy, neither of them. So the fact that we got to go together, that we got to enjoy every sight, to take our daughter to her saint, it was priceless. Was it my plan? No. But it was 150 times better. I could have never imagined that God would grant us such a trip. Would have never imagined. And now I'm sitting here and I am dying to go back. Of course, I just want to be back. But we have to practice gratitude in everything, even when things do not make sense. Trust that there's a reason why He has you, where He has you, when He has you. And know who has you. Know the God that loves you beyond all measures. Trust the who has always provided and will always provide. Trust that there's no mistake, that you are here for a reason, and I cannot wait for you to find out. All right, my loves, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you find it encouraging, and I am sending you so much love and so many blessings, and I cannot wait to see you next week. Oh yeah, before I go, I want to invite you inside my free Facebook group. It is called Catholic Women Growing Businesses with God. It is a free Facebook group for Catholic women entrepreneurs who are desiring to grow, start, or create a business that is aligned with their faith, their family, and most importantly, growing businesses with Him, co-creating with Him. If you're looking for a community that feels supporting, that feels loving, and try out some free coaching, I do offer group coaching inside of the Facebook group once a month at the end of each month. It's so much fun. It's a great community to be in, and I hope to see you in there. All right. I'm sending you so much love. Until next time, God bless. Thank you so much for listening. If you are ready to dive deeper into creating an aligned life with God at the center of it all, I want to invite you to a one-on-one consultation call with me. This is your chance to explore what is possible for you and to take the next step towards living with more clarity, peace, and joy. Sign up today. The link is in the description. I also want to invite you to leave a review if you have been enjoying these episodes, and make sure to share it with a friend. That way God can reach more and more amazing Catholic women. All right, until next time, God bless.